Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here. And in today's GTA video, we actually have some not so great news for the future of GTA 6. And it actually has to do with Rockstar Games' parent company, Take-Two Interactive, who we're actually going to hear from this time next week. They actually have their Take-Two Interactive earnings call. And because of that, we might be expecting some news to happen sometime this week. That's actually what Rockstar did right before the last Take-Two Interactive earnings call, where they announced that Grand Theft Auto 6 or the next Grand Theft Auto's development was active and well underway. So essentially, a lot of people are expecting the same thing to happen around this time. And Take-Two Interactive also said that they were going to be discussing their future pipeline on that day. We'll obviously be covering all the details that are announced and are made when that does arrive. But anyways, in the Rockstar Games and GTA community, one of the big figureheads that seems to be getting the most grief, or a lot of grief, or people say that he's the reason why either A, Rockstar is forced to do something bad, or GTA 6 isn't out yet, and that is Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick. You guys have heard me mention that name. You've heard me talk about him when he goes on and does various interviews and talks about Rockstar's performance and when we'll hear about them next. Well, it looks like Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick will remain in charge of the Grand Theft Auto publisher into 2029, according to a new contract extension, and more of his pay than ever before is going to be tied into in-game microtransactions, which may include NFTs. Okay, so when I first see this, that I obviously don't think that's good news. Not necessarily on the Strauss Zelnick front, because at the end of the day, he's a businessman. And you know what? Good for you, Strauss Zelnick. You've worked hard. You've earned yourself another contract extension. You've clearly done a ton of things right, and you're allowed to reap the benefits of that. What I'm not super thrilled about is the possibility of even more microtransactions making their way into GTA 6 and NFTs. I don't know a whole lot about NFTs. I personally think they're a big time fad. I also think they don't need to be in video games in any way, shape, or form. And I think a lot of corporations are jumping on them as just like a big time quick money cash grab. And I don't want to see that in Grand Theft Auto 6. The only way I want to see it in GTA 6 is if Rockstar is making fun of it. So essentially, the CEO's multi-million-dollar pay packages are going to include performance incentives that help articulate the company's priorities. And I don't just want to single out Strauss Zelnick and Take-Two Interactive here, because they are certainly not the first company to do that. Recent notables include goals for the CEOs at Activision and Ubisoft, and some of it's not even necessarily related to in-game performance. Some of it is tied to hiring more women and then lessening their company's carbon footprint. So stuff like that, incentives like this, are not uncommon. It's just interesting to see that these are directly tied to their games making more through microtransactions and things like NFTs. Now, Take-Two Interactive has never hidden the fact that they want players to keep buying more and more things in their games. We obviously see this in GTA Online with the microtransactions, where a lot of users, especially recently, have felt that they just keep being nickeled and dimed, and that a lot of the in-game items become more and more expensive, so that everyday players will have to end up buying shark cards to end up paying for a lot of the in-game items that they want. And I just don't want this to make its way into Grand Theft Auto 6. We know there's going to be shark cards or whatever virtual currency, but I think that's a nice balance. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not the one making money from those shark cards, but shark cards to me are a fine way of not putting things behind a paywall, keeping all the players on the same playing field. And if you want them, you want them. If you don't, you don't. You don't have to spend a single cent ever on shark cards to enjoy the experience of GTA Online. Now, that's not to say Grand Theft Auto Online's inflation hasn't gone up over the last couple of years, because I certainly think that it has. So long story short, if you guys like Strauss Zelnick, or if you don't know who he is, then this news is very likely not going to have an impact on your day-to-day GTA multiplayer Grand Theft Auto 6 experience. However, if you're not a big fan of him and how you think that he has influenced Rockstar over the last couple of years, then this is not good news for you because he's going to be around for the next 7 years or so at least with his new contract extension. And many people will also say that he is probably the reason, if not one of the reasons, why Grand Theft Auto 6 has taken so long to come out, is because maybe he feels like he's forcing Rockstar to squeeze every drop they can out of GTA 5. I don't want to speculate on that because I feel like that's a lot of business stuff behind closed doors that we will never know about, but it's still just interesting conversation to discuss. So that's the first bit of news. The next bit of interesting news is it looks like Rockstar filed a new patent, and this one could be interesting for GTA 6. It is a system and method for virtual character animation using motion capture. And it actually came through on May 5th, 2022, so just a couple of days ago. And to give you guys a summary, it is a system and method for motion capture to efficiently render in-game objects, including characters and controlling animation of characters and non-player characters, NPCs. In some embodiments, the motion capture includes a machine learning model that can take as inputs information about the hand pose of a person from multiple sensors over a period of time and generates a highly probable hand pose prediction from that information, based on what it learns from a previously captured dataset of high-quality sample motion captures. The system and methods described herein overcome the imprecision conventional optical marker pipelines for the case of finger movement, where the slightest imprecision yields results that are not good enough for production. So, long story short, the hands in GTA 6 are going to look a whole lot better. And that's actually kind of something that has vastly improved as video games have gone along. Like, go back and play the original Vice City and San Andreas. All the hands look like mittens. Like, you can't even tell there's individual fingers. And this has slowly gotten better. But fingers, because they are like one of the tiniest things on a person, at least when you're trying to capture them, and because it's not in the face where you're going to have the most detail, they often get lost, and the hands can look a little like just not realistic or overlooked. We even saw that with the trilogy, the definitive edition. The hands did not look all so great. But yeah, I think this could be kind of cool. I will leave a link to the entire thing in the description. I'm not super technically savvy, so there's a lot of stuff in here that you guys could probably read and that you guys could take away from this. But I think for the average gamer and player like myself, just know that the graphics on GTA 6 are going to be absolutely incredible. And it's even going to come down to the little stuff like the hands and the fingers and the arms and stuff like that. They're going to look incredible too. But anyways, I'd love to hear from you guys in those comments down below, or you can reach out to me on my Facebook page where you can send messages, photos, videos, and more on everything we discussed in this video today about GTA 6. Let me know what you're thinking down there. If you guys did go to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new. You want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and all the Rockstar Games videos that I'll be doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.